Hello, beautiful people. You are welcome back to People Skills, the place where we learn to do the ordinary in an extraordinary way so that we can get extraordinary results when it comes to dealing with people. Today, we are going to be talking about the age old, most feared, most dreaded terrorist of the human emotion and psyche throughout all of human history. None other than age-old public speaking. Yes, that thing that leaves many people with only one of two responses: freeze or flee. It leaves many paralyzed, formatted blank out of relevant content. And today, if you are here, you are in luck, because I'll be debunking two myths to help you to grow in your public speaking from being deficient to being proficient, and then even to mastery, by helping you to override this primitive response. It's gonna be a fantastic and fun ride. The question is, are you ready for it? Say, yes, I am ready. Are you ready for it? Yes? So if you are ready, then let's get into it in 1, 2, 3, and go. In 1951, Warren Buffett took his very first public speaking class from Dale Carnegie. From that time up till today, Buffett is the most and biggest proponent of the reality that to get far in life, to become very successful in what you do, you need the ability to communicate in public.
Whether you like it or not, get very comfortable, it may take a while, with public speaking. That's an asset that will last you 50 or 60 years, and it's a liability if you don't like doing it.
If it's good enough for Buffett, it's good enough for me. But you might still be wondering, do I really need the ability to speak in public? Where will I be using the skill of public speaking anyways? I'm only an engineer, I'm only an accountant, I'm only a software developer, a programmer. No, you're not. You are not only anything. You are you. You are first and foremost a human being that interacts with other human beings. So you need the abilities you need to harness the abilities and the skills to interact with people in a way that would lead you to greater success, exponential multiplicative returns. And that's what public speaking does. Now, here's something that I find quite interesting. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I find it also somewhat crazy. In introducing ourselves, we say something like, my name is Kizito Nyetimbi, and I am an engineer, which I am by training. But I think if you are gonna say my name is, you should also say, and my job is. While that might sound grammatically incorrect, it's actually conceptually very, very correct. And here's why. You are not your job title. You're not even your job. You are not your career. So it seems to me that it's better if we said, I am Kizito Nyetimbi, and I work as an engineer or an accountant or a software developer. Why is it crucial that we get that right? Or just develop a correct paradigm of the way we perceive ourselves? Here's why. If the way you conceptualize yourself and perceive yourself in the world as far as definition and identity is concerned, if it's inherently flawed, then the way you would perceive and interpret the world will be inherently flawed. And if the way you interpret the world is inherently flawed, then the way you act in it, behave in it, carry yourself in it will be inherently flawed. And that is why a lot of people think that they do not need the skill of public speaking. Funny enough, we have learned so many things throughout our lives, going through college, going through school, that are actually irrelevant today. They have no bearing on our bottom line, on the things that we do today. They have no bearing even in our future. You studied them. You invested money and time, studied some of them for years, because they were tailored for a certain imagined career, a certain imagined job. And probably you are not in the job today because you can only be in one job, but you learned a ton of things And for some of them, even the job they were imagined for is non-existent right now as we speak, because of evolution, because of technology, because the world keeps changing. Guess what? Something that will never change, your ability to communicate effectively with people on one-to-one basis, one-to-many basis, will always be relevant. Guaranteed, promise, it will always be relevant. The ability to communicate effectively transcends career, time, generations, space, and everything. It is always relevant. For any place where there are people, the ability to be good with people will always be relevant. So for some jobs that you're actually doing now, here's the reality, people. If you moved to a certain location, your job is non-existent. What you do for a living would be obsolete in certain places. But can you imagine of a place in this world or a time frame where the ability to pass a message in a powerful, compelling way so that it is understood and it asserts influence is useless? Can you imagine of such a possibility? Well, maybe in the pools, the North and South pools, because penguins, right? And polar bears, they have no respect for your ability to be articulate whatsoever. But everywhere else where there are people, that would always be a vital skill. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Anybody who has ever pursued their own dream, their own passion, started their own business, done something that is driven, orchestrated by them, has always and believes today, ask any of such people, they would tell you that one of the most important skills to have is the ability to communicate in public. It's not something they negotiate. It's not something that you argue about. It's inevitable. Inevitable. You cannot do without it when it comes to following a vision that is of your own, in your mind, following a career or anything that is orchestrated by you, running a business, recruiting people to help you get to where you are going, selling the idea, telling your own stories. Your ability to communicate in public is an absolute necessity. So right now, you might be working at a job, employed by someone else, where you go to work, what you should do has been designed and planned, and they simply tell you, get this done, you get it done. It's easy to not see that you need the skill of public speaking in that case. But here is what you should consider and take very seriously. If you think that one day you are going to leave that job and start something of your own, and follow that dream that you have right now within you, and follow that passion and start that business that you've been thinking about. If you think that that's something that you want to do in your future, then you need to start developing the skill of public speaking today. That is the myth number one as far as public speaking is concerned. Many people assume that they do not need the skill, or they think it's important, it's useful, but I can do without it. Well, you can do without it only if you do not follow your own passion, your own dream. You can't do without it. But I believe that you are somebody who wants to follow your own passion and your own dream. And that's why you are here. Because why else are you here? This is a place for dreamers, people. People's skills is for people who aspire for more, for greater, for the extraordinary. Right? So public speaking is not a debate. It's not something that we can argue if it is indispensable or not. It is inevitable. It's just a matter of time before it catches up with you. And I recommend you do not wait until it catches up with you. And if there is any place to learn the skill of public speaking, guaranteed it's here at People's Skills. You might wonder, really?
Do you want to learn Kung Fu? Yeah, then I am your master. Okay.
I bet you to try us and see. You'll get from deficiency to proficiency to mastery. It's our promise. It's what we abide by. It's our game plan. Secondly, the second myth that I want to debunk today is the idea, the conception that, I'm too shy to speak in public. I'm horrible at it. I'm just not good with people. Here's something to think about. Everything that you are good at today, that even scared you at some point, just like public speaking does, many people overcome these fears. One primary example that I always like to point to is driving. Many people are terrified of driving when they start, but because they have told themselves that it's a necessary skill, they learn it, they do it over and over, it shifts from being something in their discomfort zone to being something in their comfort zone that they can do without necessarily thinking too much about it. That's where I am currently when it comes to public speaking. Put me somewhere, give me a topic to talk about. Hopefully it's something that I'm passionate about, because if not, it's really hard to talk on subjects that you don't care much about. So it's not like you are horrible at public speaking. It's that you've not even given yourself the opportunity to grow as far as it is concerned. And today, I'll tell you one reason why. It's a second myth that I want to debunk for you today. Many of us grow up in a society, right, that taught us certain things. So we have gotten to this place where you think I am too shy or I'm just horrible at it. But I think you are a victim of your culture, your society. And I'll explain, because I'm very careful when I use that word victim. I don't like it. I don't like the concept of victimhood. But in this case, here's how I explain it for you. According to Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, victim mentality is the thinking that the past is more powerful than the present and the future. It is the belief that the past is more powerful than the present and than the future. How is that relevant to what we are talking about here today? Most of us grew up in a society that said, you can be seen, but you shouldn't be heard. When the elders are talking, you should have no opinion, keep your mouth shut. Worse still, some of us grew up in a society that said, you can be good at something, you can be great at something, you can even be awesome, but don't tell us about it. We don't want to know. We don't care. Who do you think you are? You're not better than anyone. Here is the truth. You are better than almost everyone you know, at least at one thing. At least at one thing. There is something you are so good at that you are kind of built for. You are intended to shine at and to serve the world in. So, by definition, you are better than a lot of people at that thing. And you are supposed to shine forth as far as that is concerned. You're supposed to be heard. You're supposed to be seen doing it. You're supposed to be celebrated doing it. You're supposed to be appreciated, rewarded. And the world is supposed to benefit from that gift of yours. So, if public speaking is the way that you communicate a vision that you have, the passions that you have, the strengths that you have, the things that you are great at, if it is one of the mechanisms, don't you think it's about high time you harnessed the potential? Because trust me, even to get to where you want to go as far as your dreams, your passions, your business are concerned, you need to communicate a vision to other people. You need to recruit people to help you get to where you want to go. You need to delegate. You need to sell. You need to market. You need people. You need other people. Otherwise, there is no extraordinary in isolation. Understand these people. You are great at something. There's something that you are better than everyone else at. And for that, you should be seen, heard, shining, and everything. I like this quote from Jordan Peterson, which he said, when you have something to say, being silent is a lie. When you have a gift to serve the world, not doing so is sort of a crime. You are leaving the world less of a better place than it could be with your service. So what we are doing at peopleskills currently, we're actually developing a public speaking program. One that works more than most, right? And here's the difference. Here's one of the key things. When people decide that they want to learn the skill of public speaking or teach it, most of the times they start with what you should be doing or how you should go about, with this learning the skill of public speaking. But here's something that's quite unique about the program that we're working on. We start with why. And that's sort of what I've been covering here, debunking the myths to help you break the mental barrier that's keeping you from getting to a place where you can stand and deliver a compelling, engaging message, getting your ideas, your stories across, because they are meant to inspire, and to uplift and elevate people, sometimes from terrible darkness that you have no clue about. If that is the purpose, if that is our strategy, then we, in developing that strategy, have everyone in mind. Sort of. It's hard to do something that suits everybody. But we are thinking about people who are working in roles that typically never help them to develop this ability. So most of the technical people, it's the background I'm coming from. And we're thinking about leaders, people in places of authority, the C-suite executives, the leaders of the civic world. Because here's something that I find that is quite interesting and somehow frustrating, to be quite honest. Leaders should be heard. They should be listened to, almost by definition. But you find sometimes that leaders take that and they deliver their messages in a very uninspiring way. If you are a leader in a place of authority, it's important that when you get up to talk, you engage people in a way that do not leave them getting back to their phones, ignoring what you are saying, doing everything else but paying attention. So you need to harness the abilities to communicate a compelling, powerful message, to inspire, to transform, to do what you are meant to do. And that's what we are here for. Developing this program is one of the most important things that we are working on, and it's going to be coming up soon. I don't want to talk too much about it, but stay tuned and watch out for it. And don't forget that, first of all, you need the ability for public speaking. It's an absolute necessity. And secondly, you need to override whatever cultural or environmental mental maps or perceptions that has told you do not speak, that has told you be silent, be quiet, be seen, not be heard, that has told you if you are great at something, don't tell us. It's okay if you show us your weaknesses, your failures, but don't show us how awesome you are. Today, let it sink into you. Tell it to yourself before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning. There is something that I'm meant to shine at, that I'm good at, and better than most people at. And for that, I will be seen, I'll be heard, I would show forth, I would serve in that area, and I will deliver my gift to the world. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, our game plan remains, we go from deficiency to proficiency to mastery. If you're already at proficiency, then let's hit mastery. Wherever you are at, we can all get better at this skill, especially because a great deal of our dreams depend on it. And with that, I invite you to continue to be with us in this journey. Hit the subscribe button, like, share the video, leave a comment down below. Drop a comment is the way I like to say it. And then until next time, it's your humble public speaker, trainer, and coach and everything, People Skills. My name is Kizito Nyitimbi, and until next time, it's peace and out. Bless you.